this is Bill for Sparky Channel. Today I'd like to go over the new 2023 NEC codes for box fill. And our example is going to be this box right here. It's a 4x4. It has a three-way switch right here. It has another switch right here that goes to this light. You see this three-way switch and this three-way switch go to this light. And then it's got a receptacle. And so it's got three cables coming into it. This is a 12-2 with ground. This is a 12-2 with ground. And this is a 12-3 with ground. So this one has an extra conductor. And then you see it's got two devices. It's got the three-way switch. And it's got the combination switch receptacle. And down here you see a cable clamp. And there's a cable clamp here. And a cable clamp there. So there's three cable clamps. We'll be going over those. And then inside there's wire connectors and pigtails. So there's a lot of activity going on in this box. So let's see if this 4x4 box was overfilled by the new 2023 NEC code. And at the same time, we can learn about the new code, and I can show you the massive deletion that occurred in one of the parts of the box fill code for 2023. Our first move in figuring out box fill is to figure out how many cubic inches the boxes have. So this 4x4 by 2 1/8 box has 30.3 cubic inches. You can usually find it marked inside the box. If not, you can find it on the internet. Then I put a 1-inch mud ring on top of this box, and the mud ring is marked inside as 12.5 cubic inches. So when you add together the 4x4 box and the 4x4 mud ring, you get a total of 42.8 cubic inches. Now let's count up the conductors. We have 3 black wires, 1 red wire, and 3 white wires. They're all conductors, so that is a total of 7 12-gauge conductors. Also, we have 3 ground wires, which we call EGC or equipment grounding conductor wires, which come from outside the box, and we have 1 green wire, which is also an EGC wire, which starts from inside the box. So coming into the box, we have 7 conductors, 2 devices, 3 EGC wires from outside the box, 1 EGC wire from inside the box, and we're just going to make a note here. We can go over it later. 3 cable clamps, we got wire connectors, and pigtails. Here we are at NEC 2023 table 314.16B1, and it's called volume allowance required per conductor. If you go down the column on the left hand side under size of conductor, we'll go to 12 because all of our conductors are 12 AWG. And go across to the other arrow and it says 2.25. So we need to allow 2.25 cubic inches for each wire in our box. Here we are at 2023 NEC 314.16B1. Conductor fill. Each conductor that originates outside the box and terminates or is spliced within the box shall be counted once, and each conductor that passes through the box without splice or termination shall be counted once. Each loop or coil of unbroken conductor not less than twice the minimum length required for free conductors in 300.14 shall be counted twice. The conductor fill shall be calculated using table 314.16B1. A conductor, no part of which leaves the box, shall not be counted. Therefore, the pigtails used in our example are not counted as part of the box fill calculation. Exception: an equipment grounding conductor or conductors or not over 4 fixture wires smaller than 14 AWG or both shall be permitted to be omitted from the calculations where they enter a box from a domed luminaire or similar canopy and terminate within that box. And right below that is 2 clamp fill. And notice the delta symbol right here. That means there is a deletion in this area. And I'll cover that in just a minute. Clamp fill, where one or more internal cable clamps whether factory or field supplied, are present in the box, a single volume allowance in accordance with Table 31416B1 shall be made based on the largest conductor present in the box. No allowance shall be required for a cable connector with its clamping mechanism outside the box. The cable clamps in our example have their clamping mechanisms outside of the box, so they do not count as part of our box fill calculation. Here's the same article from 2020 NEC clamp fill, and you see this paragraph right here? Well, this whole paragraph has been deleted for 2023. So if you'd like to read this paragraph, just pause the video and check it out. Back to 2023 NEC. And here is B4, device or equipment fill. For each yoke or strap containing one or more devices or equipment, a double volume allowance in accordance with Table 314.16B1 shall be made for each yoke or strap based on the largest conductor connected to a device or devices or equipment supported by that yoke or strap. A device or utilization equipment wider than a single 50 millimeter, that's 2-inch device box as described in Table 314.16A shall have double volume allowances provided for each gang required for mounting. So each device is going to have 2 times 2.25 or 4.5 cubic inches of box fill. So the 2 devices altogether will be 9 cubic inches. B5, equipment grounding conductor fill, where up to 4 equipment grounding conductors enter a box, a single volume allowance in accordance with Table 314.16B1 shall be made based on the largest equipment grounding conductor entering the box. A 1/4 volume allowance shall be made for each additional equipment grounding conductor that enters the box based on the largest equipment grounding conductor entering the box. Because we have 4 or less ground wires entering the box, we'll just be taking one allowance of 2.25 cubic inches of box fill for the grounds. And under 2023 NEC 314.16B, it says, no allowance shall be required for small fittings such as lock nuts and bushings. So there's no allowance needed for wire connectors. So we're not going to be counting our cable clamps, wire connectors, or pigtails. So now let's add everything up. We have the box with the mud ring, which came out to 42.8 cubic inches. And then we have 7 conductors. Those 3 black wires, a red wire, and 3 white wires, all 12 gauge, and they each get a 2.25 cubic inch allowance. So that's 15.75 cubic inches. And then we have the EGCs. We had 3 coming into the box, and we had 1 inside the box. So that's a 1 volume allowance. So that is 2.25 cubic inches. And then we had 2 devices, which is 4 volume allowances, which comes out to 9 cubic inches. So that was a total of 27 cubic inches. So as far as box fill, we were fine. We only used 27 cubic inches in the box and mud ring, and we are actually allowed up to 42.8. It's good practice to leave some extra room. So we passed on this one. Now I'll turn the circuit breaker on and test out the new modified circuit. First I'll try a 3-way switch, then the other 3-way switch, and back and forth and back and forth. So the 3-way switch is working great. Now the new switch is working great with the new light, and now the 3-way switch again. And here, let's try both of them together. There it goes. That worked fine. Now let's test out the receptacle with a receptacle tester. And you can see there's 1 green light, which means correct. But you can also see that there's 120 volts AC, so it gives you a voltage rating as well. I'll put links in my video description for the new Klein receptacle and GFCI tester, which also tests volts AC. I'll put links for Wago lever nuts. I'll put links for the Leviton devices that you saw in the video. They are all federal specification grade, which is higher than residential grade, and that's what I recommend. I recommend you go up a step and get the specification grade. Thanks. I hope this video was helpful.